Start at the beginning. How long have you been involved in purebred dogs?
Probably as soon as I was born.
Really?
Yes.
So you were born into a show dog family, huh?
I'm third generation dog breeder, as I put it. I'm a dog handler by pure luck.
Dog handler by luck, but a breeder by faith?
Yeah, because my family, my grandfather, he's Aljamar Kennels.
Aljamar Kennels.
Yeah.
And what's Grandpa's name?
His name was Al Lashinsky. He was not too liked in the sport.
And he was a professional handler?
No, he was a breeder. Him and my grandmother are the first people ever to breed a group-winning black Schnauzer.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, there's a trivia question for you. When was that?
Bob Condon used to show. Bob Condon was the person that showed that dog.
Is that right?
Yep.
Just give us a time frame. When was that?
I think they told me it was back in 60. It was either in 63 to 65, 1965. That's when that Schnauzer bitch won its group.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And that was the first.
That was before I was born.
Your grandparents bred her,
Yep.
and then Condon showed her.
Yep.
So your grandparents were what? Hobby breeders? Is that a?
They got into Schnauzers, and when I was born, my mother bred wire fox terriers and smooth fox terriers.
Well, now hold on a second. So your grandparents and what was their names again?
Al Lashinsky and Marilyn Lashinsky.
And they lived where?
They lived in where they live now in Mundelein, Illinois.
Okay. Still there, huh?
My grandmother still lives in the house that my grandfather built.
Is that right?
Yep.
Surely she's not still breeding dogs.
Oh yeah, she is.
No.
She breeds wire fox terriers. She's been breeding them now. Her and I have actually been breeding them now together for, I think, 21 years now. Her and I have been.
Is that right? I
Yep.
did not realize that.
My mother is the whole purpose why I am a dog handler.
Well, now wait. Okay, so what's your mother's name?
Paula Passioni.
And she was she a handler, breeder?
She was a breeder that had potential to probably be one of the good handlers in this sport. But because of the life path she chose, she never accomplished what I thought she could do.
Okay, so what? She introduced you to handling, and
She introduced me to the breeding aspect of what the sport is. My first recollection of me being in the ring actually is when I was 6 years old, showing wire fox terriers at a puppy match with my mother.
that's age 6 years old.
That's the first recollection of me.
That you had. Okay, so you continued to attend dog shows?
I went to dog shows with my mother every weekend. Liz Tobin, that's with Joe Votto right now. She used to travel with my mother and that. So I'd get shoved in the back of a blue Gran Torino behind crates, laying, just so I can get to the dog shows with my mother.
Oh, it must have been quite a canine education, though.
It was interesting because it showed it was the purity of what this sport used to be.
What do you mean by that?
Where this sport's now is nothing like it was when I was a child, and that's where the part of this business hurts me. When I was young, it was about the breeders. It was about, the fox tank kennels, the Eve-wire kennels, because I was, as a kid, only involved in terriers, so my world revolved around terriers. Mrs. Farrell and Eve Ballack, meant the world to me. Even through my older age, because when I was married, my ex-wife won the national with a smooth that came from my mother's line, which was probably, even though I didn't show the dog, my wife at the time showed the dog. It was probably one of the most proudest moments in my life.
Is that right? Because of the pedigree behind it?
Yeah, because it was history for me. It's just like breeding dogs with my grandmother. I feel like I'm carrying something on that now has gone through 3 generations. It's very important to me. My grandmother may not have the greatest wire fox terriers, but my grandmother has the most soundest temperament and health-wise, because she would never allow me to breed to dogs that weren't beneficial wise to her lines. You know, she'd take her chances. We get, you know, and she would, you know, see, Mark, what I tell you.
Yeah.
So I've learned, you know, through my mother and my grandmother. I mean, that's why I personally think why I'm such a good breeder myself, because of the experiences I had growing up. You know, and I also know the history of lines and dogs. Even now, I'm starting new breeds that I breed with clients and all that. And it's because of what I've learned as a child why I think I can actually breed a good dog.
So what do you know about breeding that the rest of us don't? And I'm not trying to be smart there, but I mean, what's the secret, I guess, to being a good breeder?
To me, the secret is you got to be a true dog person. It's just like in everything else in life. Some people have certain talents, others don't. Some people can see things. I'm blessed. I also, because I think I can see a dog better than most people. I think I can point out a good one better than most people. It's like I said to people my whole life. My talent is a curse. Because I have things that people want that I can't teach. You can't teach people how to look at a dog like I do. It's just like the philosophies in life. I have a very hard time with people that can't understand me. And I always have to take a step back and realize that not everybody sees things through my eyes. It's like showing a dog too. I have a special touch on a dog that most people don't have. And I hate to admit this to people, but I'm 41 years old now. I've been around, touched, showed some of the greatest dogs that, to me, you know.
Well, you worked for a variety of people over the years.
I've worked, in my opinion, I've worked probably for some of the greatest handlers, to me, in my opinion, that existed.
Like who?
George Ward.
Now, when did you work for him?
I worked for George Ward at the age of 12 till I was 16.
Did you really?
Yes.
No.
Never went to a dog show. Went to one in 4 years because George's philosophy was first learn how to take care of a dog before you start showing
So
it.
now wait, did you live at his kennel in
Yeah.
Michigan, and you went to school there?
Yep.
And then you lived there, took care of the dogs evenings and weekends while he was
7
gone.
days a week. I'd wake up at 5 in the morning because they set the time for me because I had to leave for school by 7. I think it was 7:10 or something like that. So everything was based around my schedule.
I'll be done. And what? Your parents or grandparents got you the job?
Actually, my grandfather got me the job because my grandfather always thought that I had talent.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to go learn from the best.
Did he have hopes of you becoming a professional handler someday?
Yes.
That was his
goal for me in my life.
Okay, so you worked for George from 12 to 16.
And I left there because I went home over Christmas and saw my brother had a life. And I chose to go back home, which disappointed my grandfather, and that's when I ended back. My mother lived in Arizona at the time, and that's where I got shipped back to, was my mother.
Oh, in Arizona?
Mm-hmm. Was out of dogs for 2 years. Didn't want anything to do with dogs.
Wait, you didn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
After I worked for George for the 4 years, I went back home. The 4 years I worked for George, there's a lot of things he's instilled on me that I apply to my life today. Didn't realize it when I was showing dogs, but when I moved back to the kennel, I realized more now at this age what that man instilled on me than I did while I was showing against him.
Okay, so you worked for him from 12 to 16. What era was that?
Early 80s.
Early 80s?
Yeah, because I think I moved there in 79 or 80. Earlier than that, maybe. Yeah, 79 I moved there.
Okay, so then...
I was there till 83.
To 83.
That's when I turned 16.
Okay, and then you got out of dogs for a couple of years.
Went to Arizona, got out of dogs for 2 years. I walked out of school, drove home and said, what are you going to do with your life?
So you graduated
and my home life situation wasn't the best, and so I turned back to the dog shows because I went to one dog show. I was in Arizona and got approached by 3 different handlers for jobs.
So who'd you go to work for then?
Billy Shelton.
Is that right?
That's a touchy subject.
Oh.
That subject, you don't want to go there with me.
Okay, how long were you there? 6
months exactly.
Then where'd you go?
Corky Brooms.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now, how long did you work for Corky?
I worked for Corky for 4 years. I started working for him when he owned a Nat and Gloria Reese's biggest accounts at a tire shop. Corky used to run it. Corky got tired of it and wanted to get back into showing dogs. So I got back with Corky when he was on his second, I call it Corky's second tour of duty.
So how long did you work for him?
4 years, almost 4 years.
And that would have been?
Right before I stopped working for him right before Iron Eyes.
Oh, really? What dogs did he have when you were?
We had the Kildavin Irish Setter. We had Georgia the Bulldog. I mean, the first year Corky started showing dogs, he really didn't. He won. He didn't really win. It's the last 3 years. We had Bouviers from Fran and Carl, Sinceri. Corky went a lot with them. Fran and Carl also owned the Springer dog Ben that Corky showed. We did a lot of winning with that. I mean, Corky. When I worked for Corky, what Corky did for my career was expose me. He brought my talent out because of the dogs, the quality of the dogs that he had to show, and plus he did have enough faith in me to show them, and so did his clients. Ending there, how do I say this? The way it ended, how I got fired or whatever happened, it's not the way I wanted it to be because Iron Eyes was a big part. I found the dog, which to this day we still have arguments about it. But, yeah, Corky set up the whole deal, but I'm the one that found the dog. It was just egos got in the way.
Oh, yeah? On both sides?
Yeah. And, I don't know what Corky's point of view of this is because him and I have never actually talked about this. It's still a subject to this day that one day, hopefully, that him and I will be able, because I do give him and Susan a lot of credit where I'm at. Just like I give George Ward. And, after Corky, I went into a lull for 6 months and just freelance, and then I went to work for Clay Cody.
Well, you did?
Which, like I tell people, Clay Cody showed me how to win.
Oh, really? Huh? Can you show me how to win?
The best way I can describe it, you get what you put into this sport. If you want to win, you got to put in more than the other person. You got to believe more. There's certain things you can't. It's a touchy subject to say to people because people don't want to hear the truth about this. If you believe in yourself enough, you can make other people believe in whatever you want. It's just like the dogs that I've shown through my career. People think I've fixed things my whole career. I never fixed a thing. I just made people believe what I was showing was better than what everybody else's. And when you tried to combat me on it, you couldn't. Because when you looked at the quality of dogs that my, ex-wife and I, Lisa Bettis, showed, you couldn't. Yeah, there are certain things people knew us better or something like that, but we had the dogs to back up with what I was saying. Where most people, they try to con you with a bad one and make you look like an idiot. Because it is human nature. It's, everybody sees things differently. People see paintings differently. People see dogs differently. To me, looking at a dog's like looking at a piece of artwork. And if it's pretty and has all the right angles and it fits the standard, how can it be so wrong?
So, what dog, tell me about your first best in show win.